Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So good to see you. Happy Friday. We're just gonna bust out some Q&As today because I need to get better at preparing some video topics for you guys. I have a whole list I need to do, but sometimes I fall behind. Like, we've just been so busy with coaching and doing a group program right now that it's been so hard to keep up, but you're important too. So let's dive in. Okay, first of all, on Instagram, Vivek Experimental asks, "Hi, thank you for your great videos and podcasts. I have HA almost 3 years now, and yesterday I went to my gynecologist and she said that due to the lack of menstrual cycle, my uterus is so off that I should start taking estrogen vaginal pills to bring back some balance. I've never taken those. Would this make my body more confused than it already is? Thank you for your time." You know, that's a interesting way. It's so fun to hear the different ways that at least people interpret or repeat back what their doctor said. But at the end of the day, like, actually get a lot of DMs about like, hey, my doctor said go on this medication, go on this medication. And it's almost always estrogen, and then sometimes it's progesterone. And typically those are the two things. And I get asked that question a lot in just different words all the time. And so if you're reading this or hearing this and you're thinking, I'm gonna ask about what my doctor told me, definitely feel free to ask, but my answer is already going to be this. Your doctor is saying that because they're triaging the situation, right? They're seeing your estrogen, this is what they do. This is what they're trying to do. They're seeing that your estrogen is like wildly low, and they're like, oh my gosh, this girl's brain health. Like, oh my gosh, estrogen is important, because it is. So they're like, let's just get on top of this right now. Here's some medication, right? It's like you were in a car crash and you lost a lot of blood. Quick blood transfusion, right? So we can stabilize this person so their body can get back on track and then start producing more, heal up and produce more blood. That's an extreme example, but that's what's happening as well when people recommend estrogen, because a lot of doctors are just like not trained in how to get someone to be naturally producing estrogen. And a lot of the time we get treated, or at least we are interpreting the advice as like, this is just something that's happening to you. It has nothing to do with your lifestyle. But the reality is you're here, you kind of know why your low estrogen is happening. It's a personal choice if you want to get on estrogen or not. I'm not the right person to tell that. I haven't seen your lab results. I don't know anything about your history. There's actually a big difference between someone with a really intense eating disorder history who has not had a period for decades and is just like not there behaviorally and mentally to make the changes they need to make. Taking estrogen may be your only option. But if you are down to party with the recovery process and you haven't, you've only had HA for 3 years, you don't have an eating disorder, I know only, we see a pretty wide spectrum. You can probably restore your estrogen without taking pills, you know what I mean? But that's just me. Okay, another question. Y'all, I have a few questions on YouTube and then people post them and then they go back and delete them. So I can't like get to the full question. Why are you guys doing that? Are you just like suddenly anxious? Okay, but anyway. BB Babbles ASMR. Oh no, that one was deleted. You guys, stressing me out. But I do have another one in here. Switch to the Instagram question. Okay, Anna Gorski asks, I was wondering if you have any tips for cramping and discomfort when starting to have discharge, cervical mucus again, and seemingly getting closer to a period returning after 10 years. Anything helps? Okay. So after 10 years, your uterus hasn't had a contraction in a hot minute, right? So let's give it some grace that it's probably going to be a bit crampy when it's having to produce mucus for the first time and contract to release a uterine lining for the first time. When I got my very first recovery period, I had actually really bad cramps. I thought I was going to have to call my husband to come and bring me home. I thought something was wrong, like take me to the hospital. But that only ever happened the very first time. And I really just think my body was doing something they hadn't done in like 7 or 8 years. So definitely don't stress too much, Anna. But depending on where you experience it, yeah. So you're like me, because I asked her, where are you feeling it? And she goes, sometimes in my lower back, sometimes in the front, like a sharp pain. I mean, you know, if you're feeling uncomfortable, go to the doctor and just get a check, like make sure it's not your spleen, right? Because this is somewhat subjective. I'm not sure exactly if you can point to it, but I always get my cramps in my lower back. Now, getting cramps all the time, it's not, you shouldn't accept that as your normal, but it definitely happens. And it has a lot to do with like nutrition, and there's a lot at play. So don't accept it as your forever, but for the first period, like it might happen. Don't worry. And it depends on what you rate the pain out of 10. If it's a sharp pain out of like 8 out of 10 or something, like, yeah, maybe go to the doctor and just get that checked out, that it's not something else. But if you're sure that it's just period pain, rest assured it should improve. But I find for the lower back, I do this really deep breathing where I fill my pelvis with as much air as possible, breathing in, breathing out slowly, just to like create space and pressure and move things around in there. Find that to be really, really helpful. So I don't know if that's a solid tip, but otherwise there are some really great natural supplements out there that help with cramping, and acupuncture can be really helpful. I think it's called semolina, is a herb that you, like not a herb, but a blend you can get like at Target. That's really pretty solid for people with like extreme period pain and endometriosis and things like that. But I hope that this is helpful. She says, I'm just worried about all of this. Bring it as it comes, right? It's not gonna be pretty the first time, but you're gonna be great. Okay, last question, because I have 3% left of camera battery. I am a mess this week. I am a mess. Okay. Slay Levy asks, hi, I'm a 19-year-old girl and I'm currently in the throes of getting my period back as a result of weight loss. With that said, I have a particular question about hormone levels and weight gain. I recently got new labs done and my estradiol is quite low, above 10, but still not high. So it is evident that I still need to gain some weight. This got me wondering, is there a proportional relationship between weight gain and hormone changes? In other words, can gaining X amount of pounds result in X increase in estrogen? There may not be much of a relationship, but I'm curious to know. Also, generally, how quickly can estrogen levels change as a result of weight gain? Let me know if you would like further clarification on any questions. I do hope to hear your thoughts soon. Okay, so no, there's generally not going to be a one-size-fits-all ratio of weight gain to estrogen production. That's a part of what makes this so individual and so difficult. It's like no one really knows how much weight one may have to gain or not gain in order to see a significant increase in estrogen. But there is obviously a relationship between your weight gain and your estrogen production, but exactly what that ratio is, right? Like 1 calorie to 1 gram of it, like no. Well, sorry, 1 unit of estrogen, like no. That's not really a thing. And how quickly is also very individual, and it really has to do with how much you're willing to eat, how quickly, how many changes you're willing to make, how quickly. I hope this was helpful. The camera is literally about to die, so I'm just gonna say goodbye right now, guys. Please subscribe if you like this channel, and if this episode was helpful. And if you have a question you want answered on the show, please put it in the comments. Send me a DM, whatever you want to do. I'm at Danny Sheriff or at the HA Society on Instagram. All right, everyone have a great weekend. Bye.